And our good friend Amani joins us at this time every Thursday. Amani, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really optimistic about seeing some better football. I don't know if there's going to be some victories, but I think the Giants have been beat up in the media and beat up as much as they possibly can, and I'm just looking for the rebound. I'm looking to see some of the grit that they had last year and how they can come back and just impress us all. I'm waiting for that.
Now, are you just saying this out of hope? Because, you watch what they did Monday night. They were outclassed. They acted like they didn't belong on the field.
Yeah, I think they were a couple of mistakes away from making that a good game. That pick six there at the end, I don't know what the miscue was, but I feel like they were close. They were going to make that a 3-point game. They were down 14-3 or 17-3, one of those things. I think it was 14-3.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
14-3.
They were close. Yeah, so they could have made that 14-10, and that would have changed the whole tenor of the game. Of course, what happened, but I don't know. I'm holding out hope because I don't want to be talking about the draft next month.
When you look at where this team is, outscored at home 64-3, only team in the NFL with no touchdowns in the first half, only team in the NFL not to turn the opposition over. Is this a roster problem or a coaching problem?
I think it might be a roster problem, but not in the sense that because they don't have the talent. I think they have a talented enough team to be performing better. But I think once you get together a whole bunch of free agents, it takes a little time for everybody to kind of trust each other. Because you remember, our receiving core last year was not as good as it is now, but they were more productive. They came through with more third downs. They did a lot more. So I'm holding out hope, and I'm giving more opportunity because these guys have been beaten down enough. I've been 1-3 before with these Giants, and we turned the thing around and ended up winning the NFC East. So it's not out of the woods. It seems bleak right now, but there's still a lot of football left.
Is there any part of you, though, that believes deep down they can actually turn this around and have a great season? Or do you think talent-wise that's just not where they are and that's not a reasonable expectation?
Look, I think the Giants' problem isn't their talent. We know that they have some limitations in some of their position groups. But if they play close to the vest, good football, they were a worse team last year. They were a worse team last year, and they went to the playoffs and won a game. But they're turning over the ball, fumbles, special teams are making some inopportune penalties. There's, defensive miscues. They're not getting the pressure that they got last year. Their tackling isn't the same. There's a big drop-off, and I don't think it's coaching. I think the general manager and I think the front office have done a job of getting talent there. It's just at some point in time, if you're not a team, like I say all the time, the best team I was on, the best teams I were on were some of the least talented teams. And the worst teams I was on were some of the teams at every position. You're like, man, we got dogs at every spot, and we just couldn't put it together. There's a little bit of magic that has to happen to make teams play together, trust each other, and it's just not clicking.
I do think it is a coaching issue. They come out really soft. All 4 games, they've been just brutally outplayed. Doesn't that fall on the coach to have his team ready to play to start the first quarter?
I've never played for a coach. I've never played for anybody else but the guys in the locker room and the name on the back of my jersey. So I feel like if you're a coach and you have to give rocking speeches every time before a game, you're in the wrong business. This is a game for self-motivated people, and if you're not self-motivated, then you can have all the talent in the world. It's not like at some point in time you can lead a horse to water, right? Like you can't make him drink. I don't think Dabo, I don't think Joe Sheehan, I don't think any of those guys forgot how to put together a team. I don't think anybody forgot how to, to coach football. I think at some point in time it has to go on the players. And I don't think that and it's funny because I watch this team and I get that impression that there's something missing. And I can't put my finger on it, but I don't know if I would jump all the way to the coaching because I just don't. At some point in time, it has to come down to the guys in that locker room, the guys that are on the field making the plays.
Amani Toomer is our guest here on the Michael K. Show. So a lot of people are turning against Daniel Jones. I watched the game, every second of it. I don't understand how you could play quarterback if you have no time whatsoever. Dan Orlovsky puts it on Jones, and he said 4 of the 11 sacks were the offensive line's fault. The other were Daniel Jones' fault. And then the bad read on the pick 6. Who do you think's at fault here?
That's pretty rich. I mean, I didn't know he was in the locker room, and he was able to know exactly what everybody was not being told to do, being coached to do, because everybody does things differently. So, I don't know. I think Dan Orlovsky's a great analyst, but sometimes, you got to go on your limb because you don't know what's going on. But when I look at what's going on, I just feel like there's a quarterback who has a lot of talent, more talent around him than he's ever had, a better offense coordinator than he's ever had, and it's taking some time for him to adjust. I mean, it's not a microwave type of situation. Darren Waller is an absolute weapon that he needs to get involved with. Jalen Hyatt, they still haven't figured out how to work him in. And Darius Slayton is a guy that I think can make big plays in this league with his speed. He just hasn't. It hasn't worked out. And sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's just the fact that the chemistry isn't right. And how do you make chemistry? I don't know.
Now, you said something's missing. Could it be leadership?
I mean, it could be, but many of the same players on that team last year, the leaders in Daniel Jones, he was very successful last year. I think a lot of people aren't recognizing the fact that their best player on offense, Saquon Barkley, has not played for the last 2 games, and that has been a huge. I think that's a huge factor in why they're looking so disjunctive. I mean, he is a big part of what they do, and attracting attention and bringing that extra defender out of the secondary towards closer to the line of scrimmage, and that's not happening. So he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer. The offensive line, it's not working right now, and I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it, and it's easy to place blame on the quarterback because he can't touch the ball all the time. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is playing great. I'm not saying he's being lights out. But there's factors and reasons for everything, and it's easy to sit up there and blame the quarterback. There's a lot of things going on.
I mean, 2 things. I mean, one, the thing that frustrates me about the Giants is all over this league, you can look around and see people who are without a really important player, right? And they don't fall apart. At least good football teams don't completely fall apart when even their starting running back has gone for a game or 2. So is there something different about the construct of this team? And furthermore, in terms of playing with Eli, who personality-wise, at least on the field, reminds us a lot of Daniel Jones. Was Eli a guy who had to say things to you guys? Or if you saw him getting beat up and he just gets up every play and goes out there and does it again, is that all the leadership he needed to show?
Well, I mean, he was a young guy when I was playing, so we were kind of the leaders trying to lead him along. He wasn't the guy that won that second Super Bowl when I first got there. He was a young guy trying to figure it out, and we were very patient with him. And so I didn't really ever look to Eli as a leader, and that's no disrespect to Eli, but I was in my 8th year when he came in. That just wasn't the case. I mean, maybe I felt like he was a good steward of the offense, and he helped us out, and we ended up winning a Super Bowl because of him, but
how different is that when you don't have?
He led by example. He led by example.
But there is the interesting thing is, Amani, on this team, they don't have an Amani Toomer. Like, they don't have a really great veteran presence. I guess on offense, you could tell me it's Darren Waller, I guess, but he just got there, and he hasn't always been available throughout his career. So doesn't that make it a different situation for Daniel Jones, who's kind of forced at his young age to really lead this offense? I mean, I guess you have Saquon, but Saquon's not always there.
Yeah, no, I tend to think leadership is a little bit overrated. I think everybody needs to, really look at what they're doing and just pick their game up an extra bit. And I think the offensive line is really taking a lot of blows, but these guys are young and they're getting moved in and out. It's one of these situations where they're trying to figure out who they are as players, and they don't trust each other on that line. They have enough talent to have a good offensive line and to be productive. But the trust isn't there, and I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how you generate that trust. I've been on some of the best offensive line I've ever played with. They all were. I think we had. I think Snead was like a second rounder, and the rest of them were, really good players that worked their way, and they realized that the only way that they were going to have success is if they worked well together. And that took a long time for all those guys to get together and work that way. So I can't really put a finger on it, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating as all hell, but man, they have what they need. They proved it last year. If they play football where they don't make mistakes, don't have penalties and negative plays, they can win. That's the real frustrating about it. They have enough to win in that locker room.
All right, before we let you go, got to ask you about the Evan Neal comments, and then he walked it back today and apologized. But why would a player say that about fans?
Well, I think young players don't know when they're on the record, when they're off the record, and you know how competitive it is for the media to try and get that scoop of a story. And that is like gold for the writer who put that out there. I don't know if they were sidebarring. I don't know if they said this is off the record, but I understand how a player who's frustrated and you get a writer comes up and tries to meet chummy with you, and you think you're off the record and say something that, players probably say every once in a while, but you wouldn't want that out there. And I think a lot of times in the heat of the moment, you're just upset, you're frustrated, and all that boils over, and you want to lash out at anybody who's kind of, is anybody you perceive is shortcoming, but it's never, ever, ever a good idea to say anything bad about the fans, because the fans, if you really understand how New York is, they're hard on you, but they're hard on you out of love. They want you to do well. There's no better place to be when you're doing well than in New York. I thought the worst place to play when I was young, when I was playing, was when we're losing at home, because they know everything about you. They're talking about where you live. They're talking about, all the kind of things that only the people who really pay close attention to you. When you're on the road, when you're losing and people say stuff to you, they don't know who you are. It doesn't matter. But at home, it's a little bit different. And there's a story I'll tell you about Dave Brown. And I remember one time when I first got to New York, when I first realized that New York was a little bit different, Dave Brown went to fight a traffic ticket in court. And he tried to go in there all incognito, and he goes in there, and he pleads his case, and the judge goes, "Okay, Dave, okay, Mr. Brown, I will reduce it to a misdemeanor if you just stop throwing the ball in double coverage," and hit the gavel at the very end. So this is a place where they know everything about you, and you can't get away from it if you're playing bad. But hey, if you're playing good, there's no place better. I think Mr. Neal will figure that out.
I just want to clarify one thing. From the Giants, are you hearing that Neal thought he was off the record?
I don't know. I'm just speculating because I don't think anybody in their right mind who's talking to a gaggle of people in the media would say anything to desecrate the fans. That those guys, they're there for you for thick and thin. They don't have to be there and say, and blow smoke or say flowers or always say the right thing. They say what they feel, and they have the right to do that. And I don't know. I love it because when the fans do cheer for you, they're cheering for you because they really are. You have to earn it in New York. They're not just going to give you that Lambo. Oh, you're a Packer. We're just going to clap for you. That's not how it works here in New York.
Good stuff, Amani. Enjoy the game this Sunday.
No, thanks a lot.
Thanks, man.
That's the Amani Toomer Report.